Is the line really dead? Oh, is this the Saudi Arabia line thingy that they wanted to create a insane tourism like location thingy? What happened with that?
Take a look at this photo of the Arabian desert and you'll see that one of the most ambitious construction projects in history is on. A 200-meter wide trench runs from the Hijaz Mountains to the Gulf of Aqaba.
Okay, when you said a line, I was thinking like, you know, a city line. I wasn't fucking thinking of a fucking... Ooh. What the f...
Happy 5 months. We love you, Dee. And we'll still love you. Remember, you're strong. We'll push you up to the galaxy.
Stop talking to me, I'm gonna cry.
The biggest set of foundations
I'm so emotional.
ever built. And now that concrete is set, the first vertical structures are about to emerge.
What? Wait, it's actually happening?
Wait!
It's actually happening? I thought it would have been like, I don't know, cancelled or something. Like, is it actually being pushed through?
Would never be built, could never be built, is actually being built. Or is it?
I believe he said we're going to start going vertical, hopefully, at the end of this year.
We're going to go start vertical. Oh, shit.
Because for every sign of progress, there's budget issues
grinding to a halt.
Saudi Arabia has asked consulting firms to conduct a strategic review of the line.
There are even rumors.
What the f***? You know what? I'm going to say, why not just like build one building upon one building upon one building? It doesn't have to be all at the same time. Like, why not just do it slowly?
Swirling that the whole thing has been cancelled. But what do we actually know?
2026 is going to be make or break for the line. This is the year when deadlines need to be met and when progress is going to be measured in height, not hype. Because regardless of what you think of this project,
is this idea even realistic? That is absolutely insane.
There's a country whose future depends on it and a leader who staked his entire
There's no way they're depending on it.
Be done. They can't keep saying that, and we can't keep proving them wrong.
So will it ever be built?
Guys, what happens if the platonic plates of the earth shake? And then they separate. Is it just GG's for the line? Is it just like, will it just like, ding? Platonic. Did I say platonic? Tectonic. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm out of it.
Find out.
So, in case you've been living under a rock, this is the line, Saudi Arabia's plan for a massive linear city. When, or if, it's complete, it'll form the capital of Neom, a vast new region in the country's northwest, dreamed up by this guy, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. It forms part of his Vision 2030, an ambitious plan to wean the country off its oil dependency by, you guessed it, 2030.
Now, the numbers behind the line are staggering. It's going to be 200 meters wide by 500 meters.
But why though? Why is a line to them so beautiful?
Meters tall, and it will run for 170 kilometers.
Is it just a PR thingy?
I'm so happy to have started watching you this year.
Oh,
your subathon was truly peak and will live on in my memory. You've inspired me a lot and have pushed me to want to do better. You've inspired don't know how much it means to me to be here with you and everyone. Thank you for streaming to us silly boomies and thank you for always striving to do better.
Finally that you guys are calling yourself boomies. That's supposed to be the, it's either you're a demo, a boomie, or a Robert. That's the reason why they have very specific, like, different types of personalities is so that you can, like, you can self-insert to each one of them. Robert is a quiet type that's really skillful. Demo is the, yapper type, but is kind of silly. And Boomy is the can't really speak, but loves to do active things. Nobody cares about Demo. Okay.
Can't even begin to get my head around something that big, so I'm not even trying. I'm building my own little Lego model of the line using little Lego bricks, only 2 bricks high.
Happy 5 months. Every time you turn on a stream, you make the days of so many chatters. Keep it up.
The Empire State Building.
Thank you.
You can see the line would absolutely dwarf it in height, but just look how far it stretches.
But like, I feel like it's not that pretty though. A line is not that attractive as a city. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that cool. Is this about efficiency with infrastructure? Is that it? Oh, so there's no need for cars because you can just go to the railroad or something like that? Oh my god, wait. Oh, that will be so nice. Imagine you didn't go to the end of the line and you just have to just like go to the one speed rail and you just wait there. Wait. Ooh.
So the burning question that I and much of the rest of the world has is, how the hell do you build something like this?
Commander, your dad is working on the line? Yeah, he said that they just finished the foundation and this is the year, like 2026 will be the year where they can finally see what's the, they're finally building upwards.
Let's start with the basics. The line crosses lots of wildly varying terrain, hard mountain rock, soft open deserts, and salty coastal plains.
Oh.
To build anything across such a varied landscape, you first need a uniform, stable footing.
And that's where the foundations come in. Say I want to build a skyscraper, but the ground I'm trying to build my skyscraper on is rubbish. Now, this beanbag is to represent something called quaternary deposits, which is basically a really fancy way of saying loosely deposited material that hasn't been compacted and is pretty terrible for putting any kind of weight through. This is what you're going to find under much of the site of the line. However, below that, down here, through all this material, is bedrock, and that's a great surface to put a building on.
Wait!
How do I get down there?
Bedrock is a thing? I thought bedrock was like some Minecraft thingy. I didn't know that bedrock was a thing.
Well, I have to create something called a piled
Really?
rock foundation, which looks a little bit like this. So I get a nice...
Oh my god, I had no fucking idea. I thought bedrock was like just the end. Bedrock is the layer of the Earth's crust. Oh my god, I literally forgot.
solid concrete slab on top here at ground level.
Oh my god.
And the waste of my building gets carried down, transferred through all this terrible material here. There's no weight going on it.
I
Instead, the
literally
weight's being
forgot.
pushed down through the piles, down here, into that solid bedrock. What I'm left with here is an absolutely outstanding surface for building a skyscraper on.
What?
The number of piles you need and the depth they go to varies massively depending on the size of what you're building and the soil underneath it. The Empire State Building has 55 piles dropping down 16 meters into the Manhattan bedrock. The Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building,
I believe in my brothers in the Saudi Arabia to be able to like actually genuinely pull this off. Inshallah.
has 194 piles sunk 43 meters into the earth. But the work currently underway on the line dwarfs anything ever seen before. Phase 1 has seen over 16,000 piles driven up to 70 meters deep into the Saudi sand.
What?
That's nearly 1,000 kilometers of drilling using up to 3.5 million cubic meters of concrete. On top of that, an 8-meter thick raft will form the basis for everything else that this colossal project promises. To pull it off, an automated factory is churning out tens of thousands of 32-meter long rebar cages to reinforce each pile.
Yeah, but they're actually genuinely doing it though, no? They're already like technically finished with this like foundation. They're just having to build the buildings now. Like I feel like, oh my god, I'm thinking about the stupid fucking airplane thingy bullshit in the fucking Philippines again. That video genuinely, like, I've never been rage baited so fucking hard. I know for a fact that they've always truly wanted that project to fail. And the reason why they just wanted to say a big ass number is so that, like, money can go through somebody's, like, pocket. I know it. I know that they wanted it to fail. And they're going to say that they spent more than they actually did.
Christmas,
so somebody gets
Dean.
fucking money.
I
know it. Hi, Fire. Hello, Demenishki. Merry
Thanks,
Christmas.
Aga Link.
Meanwhile, drilling rigs are using GPS to precisely bore the holes that these rebar cages are going to be dropped into. A biodegradable liquid is pumped into the holes to stop them from collapsing before concrete can then be poured in. But it's not just soft earth that engineers have to grapple with. Being so close to the sea, this stretch also needs protecting from the highly saline groundwater.
The fact that they already finished the foundation is as crazy enough.
Left untreated, it could rust the steel cages over time and corrode the concrete piles.
I feel like they're actually going to do it.
Now, to solve this, the world's largest dewatering system has been created. 500 wells were drilled along this stretch of the line, each equipped with a water pump at its bottom. Water is pumped out at a rate of 90,000 cubic meters an hour, all towards a settlement pond.
Guys, be honest with me. Would you live in the line? No? Why not? Is it because it's just all sand around you? Hello everyone! I'm having a special Christmas plushie drop of one of my mascots, Boomy. This will be available until December ends, so do not worry. There's a lot of time to buy your own little Boomy. Much love everybody and happy holidays.
Where the quality of the liquid is checked. From there, the water is filtered and pumped out to sea in a series of discharge pipes. Work on the foundations for Phase 1 is nearly complete, which means the project is about to enter its next milestone, going vertical. On a typical skyscraper, that means building the core. If you ever walked past a construction site, you'll probably have seen these going up. They're not that attractive, but they're critical to how a skyscraper works. You see, it's essentially the backbone of the building, and it's formed by pouring concrete into a mould that gets pushed up by hydraulic jacks. But with the line, there's a twist.
And to explain that, I am once again resorting to Lego. So don't forget that the line is a city. It's a framework. It's not a single building. So it doesn't have one single core that stretches for 170 kilometers inside it. Instead, it's made up of thousands of cores, each built individually just like any other core. But crucially, these support the yellow decks you can see here, which are going to be the primary decks of the structure. They're like the kind of the main streets, the main avenues, and the cores are going to be the cross streets. It's just like the Manhattan grid, except imagine it folded up and stacked vertically. It's here, within this framework, where the city is going to really come to life. You'll find schools, hospitals, homes, transport infrastructure, everything you need to make a city function.
This is what's currently under construction, 2 rows of 500-metre towers. Phase 1 will see 4.8 million tonnes of steel outrigger beams hoisted up to support the 5 decks running through each.
I feel like the hardest part of this project was the foundation, to be honest. I feel like this is like GG's. I feel like they are actually going to do it, dude.
Usually on skyscrapers, the steelwork and cladding will start to be added before you get to this stage. They basically follow the core up the building.
Hi Deme, hi Boomies.
So
Merry Chimbus Unifor Woovlu
Merry Christmas.
And we should start to see some fast progress.
Guys, where do you live? In District 12.
That is the trillion-dollar question. Let's start by talking about concrete. Now, pouring concrete at scale is incredibly complex. Pour it too slowly and it'll set unevenly, but pour it too fast and the ingredients can split. Get the mixture too
Deme, the
wet,
natural
and
light on lower floors would be almost non-existent.
Like Swiss.
A true dystopian nightmare.
I live in the Philippines, dude. That's like already like a thing here, so...
Cheese. Basically, it relies on total consistency for long periods of time.
Now, millions of tons of concrete have already been poured, which is a pretty solid track record. But that's...
Guys, if you want sunlight, just go upstairs, duh.
Here, on the coast.
First time actually catching a stream because you always start at midnight. You'll have to throw off my sleeping now.
With no access to local materials and a near total lack of one very key ingredient. Water.
But there's a plan. It all begins here at the Oxygen, another of NEOM's mega projects, where a massive desalination plant is going to pump billions of litres of seawater to reservoirs dotted along the length of the city. They'll feed a $190
oh my
million
god, no, relying in one area just for water? Oh my fuck.
Of concrete factories capable of producing 20,000 cubic meters of concrete every day.
What?
But there's a catch. As it stands, none of this currently exists. Work on Oxygen only began in mid-2025. Those vast concrete plants are still a very long way off, and concrete's currently being produced locally with water shipped in by tankers, which is by no means a scalable solution.
In fact, yet again, there have recently been unconfirmed reports that the desalination plant has been quietly scrapped.
Oh
I'm
no,
not just splitting hairs
GG's.
here. The line has got some very ambitious targets to meet in less than 9 years' time. The Neom Stadium is set to be
I don't understand why can't we just focus on building like wonderful cities like, I don't know, fucking Netherlands where everything is just like a bicycle, no need for cars or whatever. You just need to like whatever, like really lovely homes where you just like not allow for skyscraping because like it just makes like the place ugly. No need for cars, lol-y.
Ended 350 meters up in the air inside the line and is set to host games at the 2034 FIFA World Cup. Games
I'm
that
so
people are gonna be buying
jealous
for.
of people in like Netherlands.
To be honest, for that to be credible, by this stage, I'd expect to see a lot more evidence of scalable activity. Instead, what it looks like as I stand here at the end of 2025 is a project that's trying to build something, anything, just to gain a bit of momentum and prove people wrong.
So, what are they actually building? What is this phase 1 we keep mentioning? Well, when you saw this, and this massive trench in the desert, what did you think was going to be
Holy
built?
fuck.
The whole thing.
I go
Or
by, thank you so
maybe
much for 1,000
half,
biddies.
or
Merry
At
Christmas.
least a quarter.
Merry Christmas,
Well, no,
Dean
despite
Flower.
building that enormous
Happy holidays,
170
Deme
kilometer
Dean
long
Flower.
cutting through the desert, they're actually
You can't ride a bicycle though, Demi. Yeah, because I have no fucking reason to even learn it. I live in the fucking Philippines where like if I wanted to like ride the bicycle, I'm gonna be like fucking right next to the car and shit, and I don't want to deal with that bull.
only building this. Phase 1. A mere 2.4
There isn't even a bicycle lane here.
kilometers of the line. Now, don't get me wrong.
But
it's still
Deme,
an
where would
absolutely
the
mahoosive
automotive
building in its
industry,
own right.
fuel industry,
But it
and
accounts
fines
for less
industry
than
flourish?
1.5% of the entire line structure. You might be feeling a little bit shortchanged by that, I know I certainly am. But there is a bit of strategy here. You see, the Neom team are using phase 1.
The line is so long to the point where I can't physically like comprehend how long it is that they want it to be. Like I saw the line in that fucking photo of the map and I'm just like, there's just no fucking way. I just don't believe it's actually gonna happen.
Biggest and most spectacular anchor assets.
An anchor asset is something that, once it is completed, attracts investment and development around that area. A really great example would be the High Line in Manhattan, right? It was this elevated, sort of derelict, abandoned rail tracks, and it was revitalized and turned into a public park. And because of that project, now that area around the High Line has become one of the most expensive and coveted areas in Manhattan.
The whole structure is divided
Are you
into
fucking
100-meter
serious?
long modules. Think of these as being like the neighborhoods or city blocks of the line. Phase 1 is going to see 3 of these built near the western end of the site, containing some of the city's most
fucking prison. I live in block 46. 828.
spectacular features.
I live in the Netherlands and I almost got run over every single day when I'm on my bicycle.
As you should. You. I'm kidding.
The biggest cruise ships, the 46,000 capacity Neom Stadium, and hanging below a vast chandelier welcoming people into this.
I'm kidding. Oh my
fucking god! What I'm trying to do here is basically say we're going to fund and build a collection of anchor assets around which sort of the next phase will organically take place. That is the stated goal here.
Now, in many ways, that makes a lot of sense. It's a sophisticated strategy based on industry-wide standards.
And Zal, because it was 64 months. Oh my god, 64. A block of blocks in Minecraft.
In the desert.
The line is supposed to be a revolutionary city that tears up the rulebook in the most audacious way possible and changes the way we think about our cities forever.
A stack of blocks
For
in
an
Minecraft,
ambitious leader with unchecked power, it's exactly the type of project you take on to capture the world's imagination. But for everyone else, it's a huge risk.
We like to say that development is a dollars and cents.
Why don't they just make a normal fucking city?
Game, or in this case, a Reals and Halahas game. Right, you have to be so maniacally focused on cost. However, here, this development is part construction project and part sort of symbol for what Saudi Arabia can become. Right?
TBH cyclists in Nijmegen drive like they want to be Isaac
is the
Aid.
one that everyone ultimately answers to. So the question becomes...
Genuine question, how come Saudi Arabian people have like the craziest beards I've ever seen? It's always so full and like thick. Why is that? Their genes? Yeah, and well kept. It's always like super well kept. It's Ella. Why did it stop loading? What is going on?
Forever. For an ambitious leader with unchecked power, it's exactly the type of project you take on to capture the world's imagination.
Have you seen their asses? Why is it thick?
A huge risk.
We like to say that development is a dollars and cents game, or in this case, a reals and halahas game, right? You have to be so maniacally focused on cost.
Hairy.
However, here...
We have so much money, we want to make a ghost city for the rich and not help poorer people.
This development is part construction project and part sort of...
Have you guys ever seen a homeless man in Saudi Arabia anyway?
Symbol for what Saudi Arabia can become, right? And it goes all the way to the top. The Crown Prince, MBS, is the one that everyone ultimately answers to. So the question becomes, is he being told the truth? Is he being told exactly what he needs to know?
You know what? I can't imagine being homeless in a place where it snows. I can't imagine, like... Because, like, I see in the like, if the Philippines ever, if there's comes to a point where snow happens here, so many people will die. Like, genuinely. So many people, like, will just genuinely, like, die of hypothermia.
Is there a leadership?
I feel like living in that city will be worse than living down here in Australia. It's not that bad unless you look for the bad parts.
To push back on, let's say, some of the Prince's more fantastical visions. Because he may go...
400,000 Europeans die from the cold? A year? Is that true? Where did you get that statistics from? Did you just make it up? I swear to God if you made it fucking up. Where did you get that stats from? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. They surely they'll have like areas of like
Merry Christmas, Deme, long time no see. You look really beautiful today.
Oh, thanks.
How have you been? Are you having
did a shower
good Christmas?
today. I did my hair. It's super soft and nice, and it smells really nice actually.
And say, oh, I actually want this to curve this way, or I want this to kind of jump over this thing. And each of those ideas in his head can turn into billions of dollars of cost overruns and months or even years of...
Recent studies around 2024 estimated roughly 363 to 364,000 cold-related deaths annually. Wow. I had no idea temperature-related mortality burden to worsen in Europe. What? Whoa. Oh my God.
Delays, right? And that doesn't really work well for large-scale development.
Ever since the line was announced, it's faced intense criticism around its alleged human cost.
Homes, schools, hospitals wiped off the map.
There have been allegations of using modern-day slavery on sites and orders to execute tribespeople who refuse to relocate. Allegations that NEOM and the Saudi Arabian government vehemently deny. Beyond that, it's been...
Nothing happened in Ba Sing Se.
Very difficult / impossible for us or any journalists to gain real...
When you say slavery and then you say modern slavery, what is the difference? Like, why not just say slavery? Why do they say modern slavery?
Access to the sites, though relationships with the press are of course approached very differently in Saudi Arabia.
But that wall of silence casts a shadow over the fundamentals of this project. We reached out to dozens of people involved in the line for this video, and almost
the difference is that they hide it now. It's still just as bad.
To us for fear of reprisals. The hard truth is that as Saudi Arabia works to become a more progressive society, as it works to change its culture as part of that Vision 2030 plan, it's going to have to learn to master its relationship with the free press beyond its borders.
People who are asking questions about this project are running into that clash of cultures in a way. You want to understand why costs have tripled, or why this has been replaced, or why this has changed, or why there's been no updates on XYZ, but you're still dealing with a place that is used to not having to answer to anybody.
When it comes to beards and facial hair as a Saudi, it's not just facial hair. It's like all of your body hair. It's insane. I'd shave my head in 2 weeks and it'll grow back insanely fast. Here's a pic of my beard after letting it grow for 6.5 months.
What the oh my god! Boo! Brother, your beard is so thick! What the fuck? Oh my god! That's 6 months of growth? Fucking hell, bro. Jesus Christ. What?
Now, if the line does get built, it won't be the first showpiece city constructed from scratch. This is Brasilia, founded in 1960.
I dated a Middle Eastern man before, and I remember when I was like looking at his hair and his arms, I was like, wow, you are a hairy man. Jesus Christ.
It replaced Rio de Janeiro as Brazil's capital. Just like the line, it was built in what was perceived as a remote and inhospitable location. And even more like the line, the city's plan was like nothing anyone has seen before.
Did you guys know? Complete different, like, conversation. Nothing, this is like a complete different conversation. But like, I never knew that people grew hair in their ass. I require funds to go somewhere for 5 months. I literally never knew. And I was like, what? You have hair down there? And I remember when talking to a friend, they were like talking about shaving. And I was like, oh, you're just shaving your arms and legs? And they were like, no, Demi, I'm going to shave like everywhere. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? It's only like your arms and legs. And then I had to learn that people can grow hair like really, really everywhere. And I legitimately, I don't know, maybe I just have like Asian genes, but I only have like barely hair. I barely have hair in my legs, FYI. Like I could just like, I get a tweezer and I just like peek, 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 and that's it. And I have to remove it and that's it. And I'm like, all right, all hairless. And then that's it. And I legitimately did not know. Girl, fuck you. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I don't know why. I am just super fucking hairless.
It was
you.
in the
Okay,
1950s,
okay, my bad.
jet age, when rapid advances in aviation and the jet
Girl,
set
I'm jealous. Yeah, dude, I don't know why. I used to have hair in my legs, and then I got it waxed, and then it never grew back. And I have no idea why. It just never grew back. I had like my arms waxed and my legs waxed, and it just never grew back. And I was like, oh, what the fuck?
represented all that was cutting edge and futuristic. Brasilia was meant to represent.
I think it's because I have Ehlers-Danlos, so I have a tissue connective disorder, and so when I destroyed my hair follicles by waxing, it just never recovered, and then like boom, it's just gone.
A country reborn in the modern era. So it was designed like an airplane. Government buildings
I literally
are housed
ripped
in the
them out by
cockpits,
accident, I
with
guess.
housing laid out on the wings and a military district in the tail. The fuselage forms a monumental axis uniting the whole city. Just like Brasilia, the line is kind of an attempt to create a new forward-looking symbol for a nation. But rather than looking to the skies, it takes inspiration from the pages of science fiction.
Oh no. Oh no. That one brick! Think it's a 10 gifted!
I got an email from a Saudi Arabian woman inviting me to talk with her about giving input into the aesthetics of the line. And she made it clear that he was very interested in cyberpunk.
Oh my god, no fucking way. If you want cyberpunk, just go to fucking China, no? Like, they literally have cities like this already. What are you talking about?
Chris Habels-Gray is an academic and author who's written extensively about cyberpunk and other topics.
The line itself seems to be based in part on something from Snow Crash.
Thank you, Stefan.
A novel where the virtual reality world was built around one long street, an almost infinite virtual street.
Even if you're not familiar with the term, you're going to have seen the cyberpunk aesthetic everywhere, from video games to TV shows and movies.
Yeah, but it's supposed to showcase dystopian when you put up technology and like overpopulation and like that and overbearingness, that's the reason why it's so dark and musty and like no sunlight or whatever the
like Blade Runner. Chris was one of a handful of people asked to provide background research for what we now know as
I've always dreamed about having a cozy log cabin. Dystopian is too overwhelming for me.
I've always wanted that too.
And I collected a lot of images and quotes from cyberpunk and related types of science fiction writing that I thought they might find useful. And so I was told to look especially at urban planning, the urban ideas of cyberpunk, but also the related so-called punk genres. I didn't get to see this, but several people...
Dude, you know what? I'm gonna keep it so real. I don't know. I don't know why, but I would never guess Saudi Arabia would like the cyberpunk aesthetics. I thought they would like more of like a super fucking clean... I don't know, like cyberpunk would be the last thing I would think that they would like.
But were there. The prince did arrive at a scheduled demonstration or exhibition of a lot of these ideas, which they said was mainly just big images. So then he chose what he liked, and these was theoretically incorporated into the plans. For
rich people be watching Blade Runner and be like, damn, we should make this a reality. Dude, like, I don't understand.
Building the whole city.
These are some of the images that Chris...
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! There is no way to use that picture as inspiration, man. That looks so dystopian. Oh my god, are you serious? Dude. Brother.
Shared with Neome. Looking at them, you can see the clear link with the concept images released in the early...
Oh, dude! The idea is overpopulation, though. But, like, if you're not overpopulated, then why would you want that aesthetic?
Stages of the line. If there's one aspect of the line that does seem...
To be fair, let's be real. I do think the cyberpunk aesthetic is cool, though. But living in it is something that I would never imagine to do.
Out of a video game, it's the distinctive mirror finish that covers every patch of the building's exterior. Now, reflective glass isn't anything new, but it does come with some disadvantages. The type used on buildings is made by transferring metal deposits onto glass through a highly charged gas, a process known as sputter coating. It's effective to produce at scale, but slightly translucent, and at best only reflects around 40% of light. In other words, it'll never be as good as this. This is Moriah. It's a remarkable building that was constructed in 2019 and is thought to have been a key inspiration for the line. At first, it was clad in polished metal.
Good morning, Line City, Block District 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I hear a hello? I'm not hearing a hello. Can I hear a hello? District 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Make them say hello back right now.
Sheets, but these quickly spoiled in the harsh, sandy environment. For a perfect mirror finish, you need a mirror. But mirrors are fragile. In the extreme heat of the desert, the lamination that binds them can fail, and the silver coating can peel away from its backing.
Oh.
To produce something that could withstand those conditions, an entirely new type of mirror was developed.
What?
Normally, you'd make a mirror from standard glass. Large sheets are produced, cut to size, and then coated with a silver finish. But to survive the extreme temperatures, this glass would also have to be heat-treated or tempered. The mirror coating could only be applied after tempering, but tempered glass can't be cut. So to produce the mirrors from Moriah, the entire production line had to be reversed. The raw glass was first sent to be precisely cut to its final size, and was then heat-treated.
Bro, it's not even that fucking cool. It's literally just a mirror at this point.
Before being returned to its initial factory for the new mirror coating.
Sorry, Deme, Districts 1 to 4 was purged due to an uprising. You can now do the radio for 5 to 8.
With copper to provide resistance against intense solar radiation. The result is what you see today, a surface with over 90% reflection that can withstand some of the harshest...
Bro, what is the point? I can still see the fact that it's there. It's not that cool.
...conditions on Earth.
Talking of the harshest conditions on Earth, here's a big one. The line will not be air-conditioned.
would live there then? There's no way. I was legitimately like thinking like, oh, it's gonna be fine because like ACs are your thing anyway. So like, who cares, right? Who cares if it's in the middle of the desert if the line is AC'd? That's what I was thinking. And I was like, I could live there personally because like, if it's cold, then I wouldn't mind. But no ACs?
That's right. The lack of outdoor cooling was confirmed in a presentation by the line's chief development officer earlier this year. You've got to remember that this isn't a building, it's a city. So inside your home or your office or wherever, you can have as much aircon as you want. But out on the streets, you're subject to the ambient temperature.
No! Oh, denied! Because I have 5 gifted! No!
Of the desert. And if that's not bad enough, it can be made worse by the heat island effect, a phenomenon where cities absorb and retain heat much more dramatically than rural areas. In hot weather, for example, London can be up to 5 degrees warmer than the surrounding countryside because of all its heat-absorbing concrete. And in the line, there's going to be a lot of concrete, and steel, and glass. Now, that's pretty major, but currently all we have to go on is an assurance that this has all been thought about and modelled, and that it's
Who the f*** is gonna see the line outside anyway? What is the point of the mirror shit?
going to be okay. One argument made is that the mirror finish of the line's walls is going to reflect so much light that the city won't actually absorb that much heat.
Okay, yeah, keep coping. No shot.
We're also told the glass is going to be breathable to allow air to pass through. Now, whether that means the vast walls will have vents in them or there's a brand new material being invented, we just don't know. But it doesn't exactly fill you with optimism. So it looks like life in the line is going to be largely lived within modules. Each one is being designed to contain all the basic amenities that you need, accessible within a short walk. Essentially, it's an extension of the 15-minute city concept that you see in places like Copenhagen or Zurich.
Oh my god.
But for that to be possible, you've got to be able to get
Let me buy
around
because of 8
without
months.
melting.
And if
Merry
you need to go any
Christmas,
further, you'll need some
everyone.
form of transportation. But before we can get stuck into how transport will work, we need to explain why the line is a line.
Because of the
So
fastest,
apparently,
like,
we've all
kind
been
of
doing our
travel
cities
thingy.
wrong. This is London, home to about 8.6 million people, just shy of the
Deme,
9
I will be
million people
outside
that-
the line living like Mad Max with a crew. We will attack and raid the line every so often for supplies.
No, but I can see that happening.
could ultimately live in the fully realised line. It swallows up a sizable chunk of the southeast of England. Now, look what happens if we compare that to the line.
Wait, oh my god, wait, what? It's that fucking big? Oh my...
The point they're making is that this represents the old way of building cities. It's grown without any real plan, it's sprawling, and it's inefficient. Wouldn't it be much neater if we could take all those people and house them in this slick, technologically advanced structure?
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just bring all the people and make them live in a line instead? I feel like an ant. I don't know why, but this is like, if I live in a line, I'll be like, I feel like an ant. Like, oh yeah, I live in block 5, tower A, floor 2, room 2. And I'm ready to do my work today. Like,
and to do that,
you are
there's
a
one key
summer
thing you need to
ant,
get rid of.
insignificant.
Cars. Now,
Oh my
cars
God.
may be a large part of why Saudi Arabia is rich, but this is looking to the future. Cars take up a lot of space. They crash.
Dude, this is what I was gonna say a while ago. If they remove cars and whatever, doesn't Saudi Arabian rich men have like the literal best cars in the world? Like, there's no way they can't live without looking better than other people.
Just
though.
imagine if you live on one end and your family on the other end of the line.
Dude.
They've got to be parked. They don't carry many people.
What the line's promising is something much better.
Here at the bottom,
Did they
you'll
account for
find
the
line's
sun?
high-speed
I feel
railway.
like it could blind anyone if the mirror fully reflected the sun. Don't look into the light, Deme.
Oh my god.
It's going to connect the international airport to the western tip. Supposedly, it's going to take 20 minutes to make that whole journey, which would be faster than any train in existence today.
Well, yeah, because it's just a fucking straight line.
For this, the line's general mass transit, a suburban-style rail system, will be stopping every 1.5 kilometers. Then, distributed between...
Wait, guys, what happens if you can't, like... Do you get... Oh my god, imagine this. If you can't afford your room anymore and you become homeless in the line, you get kicked out of the line. And then, yeah. And then there's like a whole like city or something, like a whole group of people who also got kicked out, who's surviving. And then now they're like planning on attacking the line or something. The slums. And then the sewer people. Zion! I think it's on tier 1. Oh my god. The line slums.
Will be a light rail network stopping every 100 meters. Connecting people between the levels will be a series of escalators and lifts. Now, this is supposed to be one of the big selling points of the line, that its shape is a better...
End of the line, Bucky. And they throw him off. And then they fall into the sand and they're like, no, what do I do now? The train is leaving. You're all alone. The heat of the sun is radiating on you now. You're sweating. Don't know where to go. You're thirsty. And then you see a car driving in. And you're just like, you're scared, you're trembling, you don't know who that is. And then you see it. They're wearing masks. New here? I'm sorry. I don't know why I put that.
A more efficient concept for a city. But is that really the case?
No, but that could genuinely be a book, no? Oh.
Well, to answer that, take a look at this.
Good day, Deme, and Merry Christmas.
You seem out of line,
I am back
buddy.
From the Christmas family party. How was your day being, Deme Flower?
Guys. And then he comes in.
Was that story Borderlands?
And then he says, you seem out of line, buddy. And then you get into the car and you explain, I got kicked out. You're not alone.
Sorry, they said the light rail would stop every 100 meters. That is super short. We ran that in secondary school.
Stupid. And then you see like 4 other people there too. And then they're gonna like have their own stories or whatever. They're gonna be like, yeah, Anna, she got kicked out of the line because her dog peed on the streets and didn't clean it up. Or whatever the fuck. And then like the other guy or whatever the bullshit.
Steve Jobs' last great creation. It's similar to the line in that it has this simple structure that houses everything, but it's different because it's a circle.
It's a circle, not a line. Hello.
That was deliberate because a circle embodies certain ideas. For one, in a circle, there's no hierarchy, no top and bottom, no coveted corner offices, and the space inside is equally shared by all. It's also good for getting around, no pun intended.
Guys, imagine... Imagine if this is how they create the line, right? This is the line. This is like in the really, really deserted part. This is like for the poor people. This is like the poor of the poor. This is like $200 for rent or something like that. Everybody's like there, and it's like really like they stop pretty much like putting money into that part of the line or whatever the fuck. And then oh my god, and then it gets better and better and better in Hytopian as the line goes to the right. Oh my god, guys, this could be a cool ass book. And then so the people in the lower parts of the line are starting to like fight the people here and being like, oh f you rich motherfuckers. And then a civil war starts to happen because like they want updates again. They want more things in the line of living. And everybody else outside of the line is dead. That's what they believe in. You know what I mean? Like this utopia or whatever the fuck, or dystopia, believes that everybody outside of the line are dead. That's just Snowpiercer? Oh! I'm Googling that. What's this? Oh my god! Is it the train? Oh my god, wait! That literally said the train movie! Oh my god! Wait, I just realized. Yeah, no, it's the same thing. Oh my god!
Intended. The furthest anyone has to travel is a straight line from one side to another. The maximum distance you have to travel is the diameter of the building.
Now take a look at the line. If I want to travel anywhere, I've only really got 2 options. Head left or head right. Whereas in a radial city, I've got every direction to turn in, so the average journey will always be shorter. Now, let's take a look again at those transport options. We're being told that we're going to be able to get from here all the way down to the other end of the line, 170 kilometers away, in just 20 minutes.
No, but that's kind of insane though. I will not lie, the idea of transportation like that is really nice.
This is the China Railway CR45OAF. It's the fastest train in the world, although it's still currently in development. It'll have a top speed of 450 kilometers an hour, meaning...
You know, a lot of this like things that they're barking on or like leaning towards for this line to work are all just in development. The water system that couldn't even be finished or isn't looking in the right direction that it is going to be finished. Hey, we're banking on that. Hey, the train that isn't even completed or whatever. Hey, we're banking on that. Hey, remember the whatever, we're banking on that.
But not even this could travel the line in 20 minutes.
Seems a lot
and that's
of gambling.
without allowing any time for speeding up or slowing down.
Plus, it'll only have 2 stations, meaning it's not much use to people that live in the middle of the city. It means that for those other services, you're stuck using a suburban train that stops every 1.5 kilometers or roughly every mile. How efficient is that?
So, where are we? We started this video by saying the line and the wider project Neome were part of Vision 2030, a plan to kind of totally
I can't believe I'm actually gonna be like alive. Oh my god, guys. Part 2 of the line reaction like in 2030. Wait for it. I'm still probably gonna be streaming. I'm literally gonna be streaming. I'm gonna be like 30 years old. I'm gonna like, all right, guys, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see the line. I'm gonna be there as a live streamer. I'm gonna be like, all right, guys, it is already dead. All right, guys, and I'm gonna be live streaming like, here is the line. This is my I bought a room. This is my block 2. Actually, it's block 142. Room number 76. That's mine. That's mine. You know.
Wire the Saudi economy by the end of the decade and save the country from economic ruin. Well, that clock is ticking, and we don't even know if Phase 1 is going to be complete by then. Just a few months ago, a detailed investigation by the Financial Times claimed that top-level executives were privately admitting that this project was impossible. And that's really the crux of the whole scheme.
When it was announced in 2021, the line was so bold in its ambition. It made headlines around the world. It forced everyone to debate what our cities should look like. It inspired kids and got them excited and engaged about the story of our future. It was so out there that it was almost confrontational. It dared people to write it off. And then with every drone shot showing progress, with every satellite...
Guys, we could still make the line, just make it fucking shorter.
...image, they were presented like victory laps over those who had little faith. But we're 5 years in now, and this thing really needs to start showing
like, does it have to really span a whole fucking country? Like, dude.
26 is being touted as a big year, as the year where things are really going to start to take shape. But if that doesn't happen, then all bets are off.
Like, what?
It's tempting to think that, well, if anyone could build something like this, it's going to be Saudi Arabia with its unchecked power and its vast resources. But as we've seen, it's not just up to them anymore.
Ultimately, it all boils down to money, and the purse here is controlled by one of the richest men on the planet. However, at this point, to fully realize what MBS wants, it's going to take more money than that purse.
Guys, just make just make a little starter fund of $1 trillion like before. Come on.
Right, so it's going to take a lot of buy-in from the private markets, external capital partners.
Demen's chat, please give me money as I plan on making a shorter and thicker version of the line. I call it the chode.
But generally speaking, they want to see a little bit more in terms of realistic assumptions.
Even if it does get
the Kickstarter. Hey guys, this is the Kickstarter of the line. So for $100, you'll get a copy of the book of your room. that's too cheap for you to even get it. So for $1,000, you get like a singular visitation and stuff like that.
There's still the question
Merry
of
Christmas,
livability.
Frogs.
Will this be a functioning city? Will it be a place people want to live, or will they just visit?
What would you see in 10 years' time? So there's a very tiny chance, 10% maybe, that there'll be some facilities and a hunk of the line, and rich people will go there to marvel at it, and there will still be promises being made about further construction. And further resorts and more refuges might be built. I think more likely, most of it will be abandoned.
Oh.
There's no question that if this thing gets built, then it'll be one of the greatest things ever built.
I'm so sorry. This is so out of context, but like I really like the idea that he decided to sit down here and be like, okay, set up the camera there. I think this is a really good shot. Please get my like arm in the shot as well, and let me like really like lean onto the pillar. It'll be cinema.
In human history, the modern day equivalent of the pyramids. But that's a very big if. This project has its roots in cyberpunk, and the next year is going to be decisive in determining whether it stays as just science fiction or becomes science fact.
Science fiction or science fact.
And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video...
Do you mean reality? Like, why did they choose the word fact?
And you want to get more from the definitive video channel for construction, make sure you're subscribed to the B1M.
Guys, do you guys think that the line will actually be completed? I think it's so GG's, dude. There's no way. It has been shortened so much that the line is now called the dot. Well, you know, yeah, well, it is what it is. How on earth could 100 kilometers long and 500 meters tall wall in the desert be a smart idea?